Can we talk about how feminists are the biggest hypocrites on this planet?
As a woman, I can admit that feminism has been overall bad for society.
I think feminism is going backwards. No, I don't think the song WAP is female empowerment. I don't think
Feminism is so incredibly dangerous. I don't even think.
If we look in reality, feminism hasn't empowered any, but it has divided many.
Extreme feminism does women a grave disservice, okay?
I don't identify as a feminist because I personally don't believe that women are equal.
Feminists do not have to include men in their movement.
Women traded family for a 9-to-5.
Women traded family for sexual liberation. They call it freedom, but it's a lonely illusion. Kindly subscribe to the channel as it further supports us in our work. Thank you.
Feminism killed femininity.
99.9% of the women that I have come across and had conversations with, they seem like they hate men.
If you hear a woman say, like, she doesn't need anyone, there's something in her that's really scared.
I would like to debunk and explain why feminism is a crock of shit.
Feminism is moving so backwards, we can't even define what a woman is.
Misandry is not a real thing. It does not exist.
Are you stupid?
Men should pay on dates because it's hot. That's it. Full stop. I don't care about your calculation of actually, if you add up all the costs behind the scenes, women are, I don't care. It might be true. I don't care. The only reason men should pay is because it's hot. We have lost the plot so badly when it comes to dating. It's become so sterile and transactional because we've lost sight of the idea that it's supposed to be a separate romantic context, which means you might have to act a little bit differently than you would with a coworker in order to inspire that romance. And I know the common male response is, I shouldn't have to pay for her time. You do not have to do anything, just as she doesn't have to feel attracted to you. However, you're allowed to do things on a date that you don't have to do in order to create an environment that would inspire romance and attraction. So stop with this transactional language of paying for her time. That's not what this is. All this is you doing something hot on a date. That is it.
Men should pay on dates because it's hot. I disagree. Maybe a few years back this would have stood, but not today. The idea of courtship is dying because modern women do not appreciate it. They take advantage of men who go out of their way to make an effort. So for her to say men should pay on dates because it's hot is entitled and outdated. If someone expects you to invest your time, money, and energy just for showing up, that's not romance. That's a transaction. Respect has to go both ways. If you want chivalry, you should also bring kindness, gratitude, and effort to the table. In healthy dating, both people contribute, whether that's taking turns paying, planning dates, or simply valuing each other's time. Without mutual appreciation, men should pay because it's hot just becomes another way of saying, your value is in what you can provide, which is exactly the mindset people claim they want to get away from. There's nothing hot in paying for a date, just to get ghosted in today's dating landscape.
I don't identify as a feminist because I personally don't believe that women are equal. I believe we are far superior.
I'm not saying that all feminists have daddy issues. I'm just saying all women who have daddy issues happen to be feminists.
And I quote from Mary Anne Franks, "Society would be better off as a whole if more women were willing to engage in justified violence against men." She continued, "To that end, women's justified violence against men should be encouraged, protected, and publicized." So this is proof that feminism since the beginning hasn't even been about rights, it's always been about revenge. When you openly call for the justification of public violence against half of the population, that's really not about equality, so don't let feminists tell you it's about equality. Never has been.
Justified violence against men doesn't sound like something a feminist should say now, is it? Because if the roles were reversed and men were out here openly saying violence against women is justified, there would be outrage everywhere. It shows the hypocrisy, claiming equality, but pushing double standards whenever it benefits them. And like this woman stated, this is about revenge. They disguise it under feminism, but what they're really pushing is bitterness and retaliation. This happens because women believe men are their enemy. They've been taught that men are the source of their problems, so instead of looking for solutions or building healthy relationships, they default to blame. That mindset creates division. Every disagreement becomes a battle. Every mistake becomes oppression. And every man becomes the villain. And once you see someone as your enemy, you start to justify hatred, resentment, and even violence.
If she says that she used to be a feminist, you need to move on. So obviously most men don't want modern day feminists, but it's just as bad if a woman tells you that she used to be a modern day feminist. That's basically her telling you that she used to be slutty. Read between the lines, save yourselves the headaches. Don't go for women who are feminists, and don't go for women who used to be feminists.
I'm going to say something rather controversial. And I know a lot of my friends are not going to agree with me on this, but I think feminism is going backwards. No, I don't think the song WAP is female empowerment. I don't think posting a picture of your ass on social media is female empowerment. Supporting all women just because they're women is not female empowerment. I don't like that some of my friends are like, go off queen to complete assholes just because they're women assholes instead of men assholes. It's not a cute look. The definition of feminism is equality. And we are not treating ourselves equal as women if we are objectifying ourselves before other people or men can objectify us. We are literally reverting back to what all the women before us worked so hard to get away from, which is being objectified for the way we look. But now we're leveraging that to personally gain from it is backwards.
I think it's so funny that men are offended by misandry.
Excuse me, why is it funny to be upset that someone hates you for a characteristic that you have absolutely no control over? I think I'm going to need a bit more of an explanation.
Because men have literally never liked women.
Uh-huh. Sure they haven't.
I don't know, women wanted to get jobs, all the men were like, no! Women wanted to go to school, and men were like, no! And then we wanted to vote, and they were like, no!
Wait. Didn't men have a say in the vote on that? Because I'm fairly certain that quite a lot of men actually did vote so that women could have the rights that they have today. But a lot of individuals like this like to leave that out of the conversation.
You can't be offended by us not liking you. You hate us.
The fact that some individuals genuinely have to convince themselves of that is really sad. Because if they actually had to admit the truth to themselves, they would realize that it's only a small portion of men that dislike women. But for some, it has to be all. Otherwise, their own bigotry would just be too much for them to handle.
If we look in the world, misandry is more expressed and out there more than misogyny. This woman says that men have never liked women, but that's a false statement. If we look on TikTok and even big mainstream platforms, you see more misandry than misogyny. Scroll through comment sections or trending sounds, and you'll find countless posts joking about men being useless, trash, or only good for money, and it often gets applauded or treated as harmless humor, while similar remarks about women would spark outrage. In some circles, tearing down men has become a way to score points or signal empowerment, but all it really does is fuel resentment on both sides. Women like this do not and cannot see the bigger picture. If men really hated women, they wouldn't have stood up for women to have the same rights as them. All throughout history, there were men who fought alongside women for voting rights, education, fair pay, and protection under the law.
You know, the funny thing about this whole feminist mentality and this whole feminist modern woman nonsense and all the chaos it's caused to society and the state that society is in these days, it actually proves why patriarchy should exist. Women are destroying society, and you are proving to men time and time again on why they should lead and why men are meant to lead.
I don't know how to explain to men, because I know women get this, to men that spending money genuinely makes women happy. It can be, we can go buy some paper towels. I'm going to Target right now to go buy some paper towels, and I'm so excited just to actively buy something. It makes me so happy to double tap, hover over that little icon, that 3D thing icon, to pay for it.
I swear I have never been more convinced in how truly different men and women are until we started talking about the possibility of World War III. These are the types of videos that I'm seeing women post.
Ladies 18 to 26, hope you're ready to get drafted. It is not just the boys.
I'm not ready right now. I just woke up, I was gonna shower and wash my hair, but let me know where it is, and if I'm feeling up for it, maybe I can meet you at the battle.
Okay, but the best part by far, though, is the comments on that video from other women. Cadet Kelly didn't prepare me for this. Are we eating before or after? Can't really do war on an empty stomach. I can't. I'm trying to save money right now. What are you guys wearing? Are we going for a cute or comfy look? Oh, I just checked my calendar and my hair washing schedule isn't going to line up. You guys have fun though. Ooh, I just got my period, so I can't this week.
As you can see, when the possibility of war arises, every woman suddenly doesn't want the opportunity to show that equality. All of a sudden, equality gets quiet, and it becomes, men should protect us. When it's convenient, feminism is about being strong, independent, and equal. But when danger shows up, the burden is put back on men. That shows you it was never about true equality. It was about privilege. Equality isn't just about sharing the good parts of life. It means sharing the responsibility, the risks, and the sacrifices too. And when those sacrifices show up, notice how fast the narrative changes. Every woman in that comment section had an excuse to not want to participate. Suddenly it's, we're not built for that. But wait a second, weren't you the same ones saying you can do everything a man can do? Sometimes even better?
Every woman tries to manipulate a man and use him to her advantage. Shout out to the men who recognize this and still do it. They recognize it and they still do it because they have masculine energy. Shout out to real masculine energy. Masculine energy is what makes the world go round.
Feminism is so incredibly dangerous. I don't even think the modern women that subscribe to that agenda truly know what they're following, because there's no way that if you actually knew how anti-women feminism is, that you'd be like, yeah, okay, yeah, that's me right there. I'm on board with that. There's just no way. It's anti-woman, it's anti-family, it's anti-God, it's anti-scripture. Feminism has erased femininity. It's brainwashed so many women into believing the purpose is not biblical womanhood. So now when the Bible calls a woman with a gentle and quiet spirit precious, feminism calls her oppressed. It celebrates loud, independent, and ambitious, but it mocks the women who submit to their husband, stay home to raise their kids, and take care of their families. In Proverbs 31, we see the praise of a wife of noble character. It says she watches over the activities of her household and is never idle. Her children rise up and call her blessed. The Lord created us to be our husband's helpers, not to be their competitors, or their critics, or their leaders. We really need to ask ourselves, what type of woman is feminism actually fighting for? And I will tell you, it's the woman who acts like the man.
Why would I be a feminist when I can just be feminine? Feminist ideology tries to convince women that relying on men is wrong. Bring down the patriarchy. And women actually benefit the most from this patriarchy. Let's let the men lead. Let's let the men go to war, do the tough jobs, work 80 hours a week, and let the ladies get her nails done, learn to cook, learn to sew. There's no pride in being Miss Independent. It's important for everyone, man and woman, to be able to be independent and take care of themselves. But you don't win a trophy because you didn't rely on a man. The feminist ideology is the opposite of femininity. The happiest women I know are in relationships with men. And the most bitter people I know are single girls who are feminists. Any ideology that breeds contempt for an entire race, aka the male race, is not beneficial for you. The feminist ideology tells women to take charge, which literally doesn't let men act as they should, being masculine and manly and leading. So I'm honestly not surprised that a lot of these feminists have had bad experience with men because they probably kneecapped every single thing that made that man masculine. So this is your sign to ditch the feminist movement and embrace femininity instead.
The way I see feminism, it's really about keeping other women single and angry at men. They use equality as the forefront, but in reality, it isn't about women at all. It's about control. It convinces women to push away good men, sabotage their own chances at family and happiness, and instead stay bitter while blaming men for everything. The so-called sisterhood isn't built on lifting women up. It's built on keeping them stuck, lonely, and resentful. Because if women actually found peace with men, the whole narrative of feminism would collapse. There are so many women who are poisoned with this mindset, and really it's damaging them in the long run. They think they're winning by being independent and bitter toward men. But years go by and the truth hits them. No husband, no family, no real support system. All that anger they were taught to hold on to turns into regret. The very movement that told them they were empowered leaves them empty.
I feel like the feminist movement turned into the man-hating movement.
Yeah. I love this movement of female empowerment, and my whole brand is that, and I help so many women, and mostly I work with women, but I also am like, men are so important.
They are.
Me and her both got kind of annoyed by how much men were pushed down during this time, because it's like, just because women are now evolving and we're all looking at women like, let's empower them, doesn't mean you should step on men in the process.
People that really are fighting for women to have a voice and have a space. You don't have to put down the other team.
I think it is truly evil how the patriarchy weaponized aging, and by measuring a woman's worth by her beauty and her beauty by her youth, essentially ensure that even the most powerful of women will lose that power in time. I think a lot about how we're fed this idea that men get better with age.
Are you stupid?
How did marriage go from once depicted as a fairy tale to a literal nightmare? Have you noticed how marriage in movies has gone from happy ever after to literally the worst thing a human being could endure? A slow march to eventual heartbreak and divorce? Almost every girl from a very young age dreams of getting married, finding Prince Charming, having a beautiful wedding and a cute baby, and then living happily ever after. But now all of that has been changed. That has been demonized and replaced with the promotion of endless hookup culture and working as a corporate slave your entire life. Over the past few years, there has been a stark difference in the way that marriage has been presented to the American public. And along with that, marriage rates have completely fallen through the floor, and the amount of broken families are skyrocketing. This marketing campaign against marriage has quite literally sent our nation into crisis, destroying the sacred institution that was given to us by God himself.
People consider me a feminist, but today I'm going to call out toxic feminism and explain to people what the difference is. Toxic feminism believes that women are above men. I just want to be treated equally. Toxic feminists feel as though it is their right to verbally or physically abuse men. Feminists think that verbal abuse and physical abuse is wrong, no matter the gender. Toxic feminism claims that only women are the victims. Feminism does not dismiss the things men go through, but it also doesn't ignore the things that women go through. Toxic feminism demonizes men. Feminism accepts men, but understands that there are things that we as women still experience that need to change, like being told we deserved something because of the way that we were dressed. Toxic feminism is sexism. Feminism isn't. Toxic feminism is harmful. Feminism is helpful. Toxic feminism for women is pretty much misogyny for men. Toxic feminism reminds me of extremism in religion. It doesn't mean the foundation's bad. It just means there's assholes in it that give the rest of us a bad name.
I would agree, but feminism and toxic feminism are pretty much the same today. They're in sync. It's kind of hard to tell the difference because so many feminists carry that same superiority complex, believing they are above or better than men. The original message of equality has been drowned out by arrogance, bitterness, and double standards. Instead of promoting balance between men and women, it's turned into a competition of who can belittle men the most. And when a movement builds itself on tearing the other side down, it stops being about progress and becomes pure hostility and hate. You see it everywhere. In dating, where men are treated like wallets. In the workplace, where women demand special treatment while preaching equality. In the media, where men are constantly portrayed as weak, dumb, or toxic, the message is consistent. Men are the problem, women are the solution.
Well, this might shock you, because I also thought the same for a very, very long time, that the people who created feminism actually were nice people who wanted the best for everyone and just wanted equality. Okay, here's what really happened. So, Kate Millett, she was an American feminist, author, and artist. She is the founder of the National Organization for Women. Her sister, Mallory, was invited to one of the first meetings that established the National Organization for Women. So this is a feminist group that has been around since the start of the feminist movement, and they basically pioneered the whole movement. At this meeting, they gathered around a large table with Kate Millett, the chairperson, and she opened the meeting with the following back and forth recitation. So this is how the beginning of the meeting went. Why are we here today, she asked. To make revolution, they answered. What kind of revolution? The cultural revolution. How do we make cultural revolution? By destroying the American family. How do we destroy the family? By destroying the American patriarch. And how do we destroy the American patriarch? By taking away his power. And how do we do that? By destroying monogamy. And how do we destroy monogamy? By promoting promiscuity, eroticism, prostitution, and homosexuality.
Come on.
So this proceeded with a long discussion on how to advance these goals by establishing the National Organization of Women. Leader's sister says, it was clear they desired nothing less than the utter deconstruction of Western society.
First wave feminism sought to give women men's rights without men's responsibilities. Second wave feminism sought to reduce or eliminate women's responsibilities. And third wave feminism seeks to increase men's responsibilities. And that's really the way I see it. When all the mixed messages are tallied up, we find that men can't win for losing. They still bear the majority of the burdens they did 100 years ago. To one degree or another, they are still expected to pay on the first date and onward, even months or years into the relationship. Still expected to be the higher earner in the relationship. Still expected to pay most or all of the household bills. Still expected to be at least as educated as their female partner, if not more. Still expected to be the one to buy the ring and to buy the flowers and then to buy the chocolates on Valentine's Day. Still expected to put themselves between a woman and any danger. Still expected to take responsibility for themselves and others, especially women and children. The primary difference is they aren't allowed to expect any thanks, gratitude, respect, status, or reward for it. In fact, these expectations in the current zeitgeist aren't a continuation of the traditional masculine roles of yesteryear. They only exist so men can atone for their collective historical wrongdoings. That's why. That's how they've...
The reality is, feminism will continue to harm Western society and push families to the side. It has gone far beyond the original fight for equal rights and has now turned into an ideology that glorifies independence to the point of isolation. This mindset doesn't just affect women, it affects men and children too. Men are becoming less motivated to pursue relationships when they know they'll be undervalued or taken advantage of, and children are growing up in broken homes where the idea of love and partnership is almost foreign. Societies thrive when strong families exist, but when that's pushed aside in favor of temporary pleasures and self-centered goals, what you see is rising loneliness, declining birth rates, and people struggling to find meaning. Even when women are equal to men today, men are still expected to provide and protect them. The thing is that women don't accept the fact that men are different from them, but they still expect men to handle all the responsibilities of strength, security, and emotional labor in a relationship. They demand independence, success, and ambition from themselves, which is fine. But when it comes to men, the expectation is almost one-sided.
I used to be a feminist, but then I got married. And before you say I got married to the oppressor, my husband is probably the biggest women advocate I know. I realized how much some of these so-called feminist beliefs negatively affected my marriage. The problem is that in a lot of cases, we women walk into a relationship and start unconsciously making our men pay for what others have done. And that's not fair, ladies. At what point did we start to generalize and paint the male figure, the entire man race, as the ultimate enemy? The funny thing is that as women, we don't want to be generalized, but somehow we don't have a problem doing it with men. We think that's okay, right? Make it make sense. We can't demand equality while inflicting inequality, ladies. That's not how it works.
Do you want feminism? Do you think that men and women should be equal, just off their gender, equal on the same level playing ground? However, I always see that whenever a woman talks about wanting equality and feminism, this goes out the window completely when they feel as though they are entitled to chivalrous activities that are being given to them by men, such as the act of paying the bill. This is a very common one I hear about a lot from women. Now, women expect you to do this thing, but this is in complete contradiction to what feminism actually is. Name me one time you have seen a straight man open the car door for a straight man that is not disabled. Yeah, I'll wait. So we have established chivalrous activities based on the one's gender only. That is not equality. That is inequality, where you expect a standard of something to be given to you just for being a woman. The counter-argument to chivalrous activities is talking about how a woman says, well, I'm giving you my time, I'm giving you the time of day, I'm giving you my affection, I'm giving you my love, I'm giving you my body, I'm doing this, this, and this. But that's literally you objectifying yourself and being a commodity for a man. Isn't that the exact same thing we're trying to not do? With feminism, we're trying to not objectify women, right? Yeah, okay, that makes sense to me, right? You just do it, but you also argue against it. Cool. Basically, you are not arguing for feminism or equality. You are arguing for selective tradition. There's an example for this where it's the 1700s and it's the American colonies splitting off from the British colony. They wanted independence, self-ruling, autonomy. You can't break away and demand freedom while also expecting to have the perks of the empire. Or in this case, you having your own cake and eating it. You can't have equality if you're demanding inequality. You can't scream equality while also casting it and expecting chivalry to happen to you. At the end of the day, we are just human beings, and at the end, we are all equal. But I'm just pointing out the clear hypocrisy in what women believe as equal. I can't believe I have to say this, but I'm just saying this video is a general clarification and general statement about what women think, and it's in no way assuming that all women think like this. I'm just saying this as something I've observed in the past, of what I've seen in my own lifetime, and what I've heard from other people. This is only my opinion, and this is not anything to do offensive at all, and I'm not trying to put on women in any sort of way.
Many women say feminism is about giving choice and equality, but there's also the hypocrisy in there. They demand that men do everything for them, jump through hoops to go on dates, pay for everything, give them princess treatment, and yet they claim equality. It's a contradiction that gets overlooked. True equality would mean shared responsibility, mutual effort, and respect on both sides. Instead, what you see is a system where women take the benefits of freedom and independence, while expecting men to carry all the burdens. And again, this is all entitlement. Some of them even say, my presence is enough for a man to do everything for me. I shouldn't have to lift a finger. That mindset completely ignores effort, respect, and reciprocity. The very things that make relationships work. It's not just unfair, it's unsustainable. Expecting someone to carry all the responsibility while contributing nothing in return breeds resentment.
This one's going to booty tickle a few of you men out there. But let me just say, women for sure do it better. And I'm not talking about sports. I'm for sure not talking about strength. But everything else in life, women for sure do it better.
If you hear a woman say, like, she doesn't need anyone and she wants to be completely independent in her life, there's something in her that's really scared. I would say there's an attachment issue. The thing is, in the end, feminism is absolute BS. It doesn't work. Women want to feel protected. They want to feel wanted, loved, and cherished. I mean, think about it. It's biology. Women need men. If this world is to continue, if the population is to continue, we need men. It's normal to have relationships. I can't stand feminism. I really cannot. We are not equal. Women are not the same as men. We're built differently. Actual fact, if you think about it, who's going to stay at home and look after the kids? Usually it is the women. But the thing is, there's so much pressure on women these days. And especially single parents, we have to take on the man's role as well. And the whole world is just becoming far too independent for my liking.
Well, she said it. And I do agree. One major thing that we have to realize is that even with this independence that women have, and with all these rights, many of them are still very lonely. Feminism pushes separation more than pushing relationships and families. The whole movement is about telling women they can do what men do, but better, telling them that they don't need men. Over time, that message has created a culture where partnership is seen as optional at best, or a weakness at worst. Some women grow up hearing that investing in love, marriage, or motherhood means giving up their power, So they put all their focus on careers or personal validation, only to find later that success alone doesn't fill the gap of companionship and belonging. Instead of encouraging balance, certain voices frame everything as a competition between the sexes, which makes people guarded instead of open to building with someone.
So I infiltrated the women's empowerment movement on this app just to see kind of what the fuck the deal actually was, to see if they actually cared about women. On the surface, it really sounds like they did. It sounded like they were going to talk about femicide. It sounded like they wanted to help women, move forward in life. But once you actually keep paying attention, they've been yapping about men for years on this app, and they are just blaming men for their own suffering for years on this app. I didn't know it was for years, mind you. These women have been yapping about men and blaming men for years, okay? That is not women empowerment. When I infiltrated this whack job cult on this app, I saw that these women just live in victim mentality, okay? They'll talk about mental health and seeing therapists and taking pills. Oh, absolutely, they fucking will. They won't talk about your physical health, though, because they're still saying that body positivity, you could be as big as you fucking want, even though 400,000 women are dying every single fucking year from heart disease. That's not women empowerment, right? Blaming men for your own suffering 24/7 also isn't women empowerment, because their solution isn't even to leave men alone, because they can't even say that with their whole fucking chest. They don't tell women to delete the dating apps. They, mind you, they also hold up hookup culture. You can't have both realities in your brain if you're trying to decenter men and you simply can't tell women, stop fucking. Okay? That's not women empowerment. This fake women's empowerment cult on this app has showed me that these women don't give a fuck about women. It's all about their party affiliation. It's not about all women, okay? They don't give a fuck about women. As long as you vote their way, that's all they care about. They don't give a fuck if you're on your deathbed from not taking care of your physical health. Did you fill out your ballot? Did you fill it out? Okay, good. We'll get you some medicine later on. Cult on this app is actually fucking insane, okay? I thought for a moment we were gonna push, one direction. But no, these bitches on this app don't give a fuck about women. They don't give a fuck about women. They want women on medication. They want women to hate men but still date them somehow. I don't understand. They want women to go sprinkle when they have no fucking idea what the fuck sprinkle actually is. None of them have any fucking game. I would advise all these hoes to stop yapping about Sheer 7 because these bitches have no fucking game. That's why they keep getting dog walked by men. And this is just the surface of what this fucking psychotic cult is doing on this app. These bitches don't care about women. It's all about party. They put men before women. It's not about women. It's about a party affiliation. Feminism is dead.
Well, no surprises there. Of course they carry that victim mentality. That's because they're allergic to accountability. Many of these women in these cult-like groups are just there out of resentment, bitterness, and anger. These groups exist only to reinforce their hatred toward men, to validate every grievance, no matter how small, and to make them feel justified in their hostility. Instead of offering real solutions or encouraging personal growth, they feed off each other's bitterness, turning disappointment into ideology. And the more time they spend in these echo chambers, the more disconnected they become from reality, from healthy relationships, and from understanding that life isn't about holding men responsible for every frustration. They say decenter men, but men are literally all they talk about. They claim to reject hookup culture, but every week someone's heart is broken, someone's dignity is lost, and yet the cycle continues. It's all contradictions. Preaching independence and empowerment while being obsessed with men's attention, validation, and approval.
Just today will be like, oh, I hate men. I don't like men. I'm so over men. Men made high heels. They make you wear high heels. They invented high heels. Did you know that a man created bras? So we have to cover our nipples. Did you know that if you have a bra, it's better support for your back? And you can keep crystals inside there, money inside there. Dresses didn't have pockets. Did you know that the woman body is different than a man? And it's actually better for you to have some kind of heel support for your back? Stop crying. You're so annoying.
Can we talk about how feminists are the biggest hypocrites on this planet? They claim that they want women to have choice, have the freedom to choose exactly what they want to do, and they can choose whatever they want to do with their lives, they can choose what they want to do with their bodies, etc. But as soon as a woman opens her mouth and publicly states that her highest desire in life is to be a stay-at-home mom and raise healthy children, you cannot imagine the judgment across their faces. Like, as soon as a woman says that, all of a sudden, their whole demeanor changes. Some of them will just give you the weird look, right? But of course, like, some of them will go ahead and just tell you, oh no, why would you want to do that? We live in a modern world. Why would you waste your life away just staying home and raising kids? There's so much for you out there. Like, they'll just straight up look down on you. I kid you not, in the real world, I cannot tell you how many times I have seen this. How is that being for women having the choice to do whatever they want? If you ask this same judgmental feminist, okay, well, oh, is there something off? Like, oh, no, it's okay. Like, you do you, boo. But I know you can just tell. What's going on in their little head. That's the thing with you feminists. The things you say don't match your actions, and that's why I have a problem with you. You're dishonest.
That's because those women aren't really for feminism. In truth, if you don't agree with them or walk the road of misery, just like many of them do, they hate you for it. That's when women say they want to be stay-at-home mothers or wives. They attack those women. They say those women are trapped, taking care of a man-child, so on and so forth. They'll mock them, call them pick-me's, say they've been brainwashed, or accuse them of betraying other women. Some even imply that choosing family life means throwing away ambition or setting women back. The irony is that the whole point of equality was supposed to give people freedom to decide what makes them fulfilled, whether that's running a business, raising children, or balancing both. Instead, a loud minority tries to make their own path the only valid one, and anything outside that box is treated as weakness or ignorance. It leaves a lot of women feeling like they have to hide what they really want, just to avoid judgment.